Hello, this video will cover lease classification and accounting. So leasing is a financial arrangement in which a person, company, etc. pays to use an asset for a period of time in return for periodic lease payments. There are advantages and disadvantages to leasing. The first advantage is that leasing it minimizes initial expense. There's less upfront cash required. There's also tax advantages. Lease payments are usually tax deductible. There are flexible terms. Leases are usually easier to obtain and have more flexible terms than purchasing loans. And lastly, there's protection. You don't need to worry about declining asset value or obsolescence as much. There are disadvantages to leasing, however. There is a higher overall cost. Leasing an item is always more expensive than purchasing it. You also don't own it and you don't build equity in the equipment. So unless the equipment has become obsolete by the end of the lease, the lack of ownership is a disadvantage. And lastly, there is an obligation to pay for the entire lease term, even if you stop using the equipment. So in accounting, there are finance leases and operating leases. First up is finance leases. Here are 5 conditions. Pause to read. And meeting any of these will classify a lease as a finance lease. The common attribute that all 5 of these conditions share is that meeting any of them makes it so that the lease is extremely close to the purchase of an asset with financing, and therefore it is considered a finance lease. If a lease does not meet any of these conditions, they will be considered an operating lease. An operating lease is a contract that allows for the use of an asset but does not convey ownership rights of the asset. So basically, the lessor preserves its basic ownership rights and obligations, and the lessee just borrows the asset on a temporary contract. All right, that is the end of my mini project. Thank you, Professor Dang, and enjoy your spring break.